Hello everybody, my name is Cochrane, and I'm presenting our paper, Understanding the First-Person Experience of Walking Mindfulness Meditation, facilitated by EEG Modulated Interactive Soundscape. Walking meditation is a mindfulness meditation exercise where the act of walking provides a rhythmic meter for attentional focus. Traditionally coming from religious practices, it is becoming more common exercise used in secular practice of mindfulness meditation. It is often practiced alongside sitting and lying down exercises. There have been numerous digital technologies developed to support sitting and walking meditation practices. Most research in psychology and HCI tend to evaluate the efficiency of the technology on mindfulness practice, using methods such as pre- and post-questionnaires. Other works are described as more of a proof of concept. Less explored methods are understanding the moment-by-moment lived experience of practicing meditation and the influence of technology has on that experience. Our particular interest was how we can better inform the design of interactive experience arising through technology use. In this paper, we present the findings from 6 workshops. Through the workshops, we developed and designed an interactive soundscape that was modulated through EEG data from one of the walking meditation practitioners. The first 2 workshops were developed to explore secular walking meditation without technology. The third workshop used an interactive soundscape entitled Mediscape. Finally, our last 3 workshops from the feedback of the practitioners, we developed the work entitled Sound of Mind. Sound of Mind is an interactive soundscape modulated by EEG data. Inspired by nature, the work used designed musical elements and beats to encourage slow walking. We were fortunate enough to perform the work remotely at the 2020 Conference of Movement and Computing. Please enjoy a short clip of the researchers and friends practicing walking meditation. Each workshop had slight modifications, but to generalize the experience, the practice was facilitated by a more advanced meditator. After the consent forms were signed, the facilitator began the practice with an introduction to slow walking. The facilitator also educated the group about the interactive soundscape and the EEG headset. You can see in the picture that one of the participants who is standing beside me, I'm the one reading off the paper, and with turquoise hair, is wearing a white Muse EEG headset. After the initial instructions, practitioners started their first body scan. A body scan is a mindfulness meditation exercise where the practitioner slowly scans through each part of the body with internal sensing and noticing any sensations in part of the body that stand out. A bell was rung to indicate the start of the walking meditation, and the practitioners began slowly making one rotation around the circle. A second ring of the bell directed the participants to stop, and the participant in the second short body scan to measure any thoughts, feelings, or sensations that might have changed after one rotation of the walking meditation. A third ring of the bell started, and the second rotation around the circle of slow walking. Finally, the bell was rung to stop the walking, and the practitioners participated in one final short body scan to imprint any changes. After the participants completed the walking meditation exercise, they were handed a qualitative workbook to fill out. After the workbook, we conducted a focus group interview. The workbook included a stream of consciousness writing task, drawing on the body map to visually map out the body measure imprints taken during the 3 body scans, and open-ended questions that ask the qualities of attention, shifts in bodily state and feeling, the sense of relationships and connection to other people and the external environment. And finally, any strategies for redirecting focus back to the meditation when distracted. The only difference between the versions of the workbook were slight modifications to the instructions, questions, and the overall design of the workbook. In our first stage, we organized the data into first-level themes, including shifting state, attention, self-regulation strategy, and immersion and reflection. Once the data was organized, we began our second stage of organizing them into sub-themes. Finally, in our third stage at looking the data, we divided the theme of attention further into a third level. With the data collected from the novice and more advanced practitioners, we developed a visual representation of what we called experience timelines. The diagrams provided a high-level summary of the unfolding experience of meditation over time, across 4 dimensions drawn from the key themes of shifting state, attention, self-regulation strategy, and immersion and reflection. As can be seen in the image, the practitioners had different types of negative, external, and/or internal sensations coming into the practice, including tension, stress, and nervousness. Then they began to explore different types of focus, including internal, for instance, the types of walking or breathing, and external, others in space, key objects in the environment, as well as the soundscape. After a while, they became more comfortable. Most of the practitioners began to let go and just experience walking in the present moment. There are a few practitioners who were unable to let go, but did report that they felt it helped them focus on their thoughts or conflicts that were arising. More detail discussing how the soundscape evolved using the timelines were discussed in the paper. The body maps were an important part of the qualitative workbook and were critical to use as prompts to start conversations with the practitioners in the workshops. The diagrams were developed through overlaying each of the participants' reported body sensations they drew on the map over one another. This is to understand the frequency of identified areas. When overlaid with one another, the patterning of body sensations becomes prominent and reveals a shift from beginning of the practice to the end. Whereas at the beginning there was a heavy focus on specific parts of the body, and near the end the practitioners had a more holistic and more out-of-body sensations. According to Thich Nhat Hanh, when we first learned to walk, we walked just to enjoy walking. We walked and discovered each moment as we encountered it. Walking meditation is about understanding in-the-moment experience step by step, not worrying about getting from one place to another, but enjoying the act of walking. We argue that by using our phenomenological-inspired workbook, we can unpack the stages of meditation that the practitioners experienced in our walking meditation case study. We can clearly see through the experience timelines that the practitioners are able to focus on the soundscape and walking experience. The strengths of the workbook, combined with the focus group interview method, is giving multiple perspectives on the experience that allow practitioners to write, draw, and verbally explain their experience. Again, more detail on this area is in the paper, including challenges we face when developing the workbook. By using the proposed research to look at first-person perspective of experience, we have developed design strategies to think about when designing soundscapes for walking meditation practices, including tempo and rhythm, complexity and textures of the soundscape, and finally the volume and intensity of the piece. Finally, we developed 2 overarching themes discovered from the data. The first is technology-directed attention versus self-regulation of attention. The second consideration for design for interactive soundscapes for mindfulness includes designing for a balance towards harmony. To conclude, we argue that understanding the first-person bodily experience of mindfulness, we can make better decisions and understand through the first-person perspective how the practitioners use the system. This can help with the iterations of our system, as well as new technology systems to support different types of mindfulness meditation. Thank you very much for listening, and I look forward to your questions.